off yourself. He's like, yeah, your day off. Wait,
And a Frankenberry,
Okay.
Chocula, and then an Ecto Cooler.
Sweet. Yeah.
So now we're doing more brunches too, so you're
Yeah,
doing
it's
that
cool.
night. Just let me know and
Yeah, absolutely.
get you some comps.
Hi, I'm Becca Whitaker. Subscribe to Raze Chaos.
What's next?
And then it'll ask if you want to.
And welcome back, everybody. My name is Raze Chaos. You've made it back to my channel, and Raze has made it back to this video. Raze already started with a part 1, which, it's up there a little while ago. And Raze is going to try and get through this. The problem is, Raze gets really long-winded when he does these videos, especially when they're DC related and when they're trading cards. Raze already went through 1 pack. There's 3 more. Might be able to get a little faster in here, but he's got a couple of side things that he's doing. We have the Hero Heritage cards. So far, we've got the Golden Age Blue Beetle, the Silver Age Superman, and the Modern Age Cheetah. And as there's basically 3 of each of these characters, and a few more actually. And Raze will go ahead and when he gets like the set of 3 of them, if he gets them, he will go through and talk about the differences between when they're all 3. He also has 1 Great Battles card from the Great Darkness Saga that was a Legion of the Superheroes storyline. There is a card A and a card B. Not sure if there's a card C or not. Raze had this entire set at one point, multiple times, but he does not remember if the Battles Saga cards were 1 or 2 cards to them. So when he gets a set of those, then yes, he will explain those a little bit more, because that's what he does. So no idea how long these videos are going to be. Basically going to have to figure that out in the editing. So yeah, that's kind of how it's going to have to work. So we're going to go ahead and put this little jackass away, and we're going to go ahead and bust into our next 2 Deathstroke and 1 Wonder Woman. We already went through a Wonder Woman. Let's go through a Deathstroke card. Went through, examined the actual package. Wow, this collar is not working out right for some reason. The price Raze pays to look awesome. That was very, very full of himself. Yeah, Raze went through the card packs and talked about the collector's album and the possibility of getting, or the attempts at getting your own checklist, which is usually in the packs as well. Raze has gotten boxes of these, so like he has seen them. But yeah, in the other video, I go ahead and explain that. So I'm going to go ahead and tear into this. Raze has a selection here. I'm going to see. He didn't do this in the last video, but he's doing it in this one. He's doing a little side-by-side thing and seeing how many heroes versus villains he gets in this thing. So, and there'll be another category for duplicates because he knows he's going to get them. And who do we have up front? Where'd my trash can go? Okay. First up, we have Adam Strange. We have Adam Strange. He is a very old character. He came from 1958. Here's the back of the card, what it says. Swept to a far-flung star system by a teleportation beam, archaeologist Adam Strange used his keen wits to defend the planet Ron from a never-ending procession of alien armadas and fiendish foes. Now, following a tragic civil war that took the life of his Ranian wife, I guess, Alana, Strange fights to restore order to his adopted world. Okay, that's kind of funny, and it really just shows that's kind of where it was in 1991. Things have happened since. We've had some major continuity shakeups. Sometimes most of the time, Adam Strange's wife is still existing. What I loved about Adam Strange is that he was the kind of the reverse of Superman. They call it a teleportation beam. It was actually called the Zeta beam, and it basically hit him and transported him to another planet. And basically, like I said, kind of the reverse of Superman. He goes there and he becomes the greatest hero. Not because he gains powers or anything. It's just because he is just he's very intelligent, and he's basically got a different perspective than the people there. He ends up being their greatest hero, and like I said, but the thing is the beam will wear off. It'll send him back to Earth. So he's got this whole world where he's like the nicest guy, or he's like the hero of the world, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's just a regular schlub. He was an archaeologist. So basically, as soon as he gets teleported back to Earth, since it is a random ray that is just basically flying through space, it can occasionally, there's a trajectory to it, and he can usually calculate where it's going to hit next. So he basically tries to make his way there so he can be there when it hits him again, and teleports him back. So every story, a lot of times, was him going back from Earth, back to this place where he's a hero and well regarded, and he's basically got to clean up the damage that happened from him being gone and not protecting them. They have played with that idea a little bit, and it's not quite like that anymore. But I always loved the fact that you actually did have an Earthling go to another planet and become its greatest hero. Become their Superman, so to speak. What is the trivia here? I'm getting ready to turn it over. What was the name of Adam Strange's newborn daughter? Aaliyah. Yeah. Raze knew that. But yeah, he was mostly, his stories were basically all by himself. He did make a lot of, but he was so popular when the Justice League of America comic book first came out, when the Justice League first started being a thing, he was one of the guest stars that they put in the book to draw attention to the Justice League. So I think that's well worth mentioning. Very cool. But yes, he goes down here into the hero pile, and mightiest heroes. I'll put it right down here. Next up, we have one of the Earth's mightiest villains, and it is Jericho. Jericho being a big deal, like when he first came out in 1985. He was revealed in the Judas Contract. He joined the new Teen Titans, and it was basically, it was a big major event where they were just like, they were advertising new character, new big changes and all that. The new character was Jericho. The big changes was that Robin was no longer Robin. He was Nightwing. So, boom! That is a big one. And yes, Raze has a poster of that issue that happened in. And he has it signed by George Perez and Marv Wolfman, the guys that did it. Yes, Raze spent an entire day in line to get George Perez's autograph. And it was the start of his retirement tour, so he knew that there was going to be no second chances. So he, from 11 a.m. till probably about 3.5, 4 hours, Raze was standing in line. And Raze isn't somebody who stands in lines very often, so that says the world. But yeah, he originally appeared with the in the Teen Titans. He's actually okay, never mind. Contact. I'm just going to read the back of the card here. Once more, the mutant Jericho has locked eyes with his adversary, becoming a wraith who takes total control over the victim's body, making them but a slave to his command. Using the puppeteering power, Jericho has built an entire criminal organization called the Wildebeests, and they will stop at nothing to annihilate Jericho's former teammates, the New Titans. Yeah, at the time, it wasn't the Teen Titans, it was the New Titans. So, yeah, he eventually goes bad, and, yeah, I think at this point, he doesn't even really, I think in current continuity, I don't even know that he actually even uses a body. He just kind of is that wraith until he can possess somebody. And the other thing that I always found fun was that since he has basically had his vocal cord severed, he speaks with sign language. And that's how he will do it when he is possessing somebody. Because the only thing that the person he's possessing can control is their speech. That's all they can control, is they can be like, why am I moving like this? If, however, they have been knocked unconscious before he possesses them, then he has total power over their vocal cords as well. So he can talk if he's possessing somebody who is already unconscious. So yeah, he's become a bit of a villain instead of being a much disliked member of the Titans. Because, yeah, they advertised a new hero, and when Jericho came out, everybody was kind of like, what? Really? So he uses sign language? He possesses people? This isn't cool. Nah. He didn't get a very warm reception. The trivia question is funny because it made me laugh, because I almost answered it earlier. And the trivia question is, who is Jericho's father? And, yeah, almost blurted out earlier that Deathstroke, the Terminator, Slade Wilson is actually Jericho's dad. So we're going to go ahead and put him in with the other villains, I guess you'd say. I think it's kind of funny. And next up, we've got Earth Magne's villains, Amazo. Yeah, I kind of want to read what. This is what's just like that card. I kind of want to glance at the back of the card, so I can tell you what is being read from the back of the card instead of Raze just spouting out and spoiling the whole damn thing. So yeah, Brave and the Bold number 30 from 1960. Doomed to the Justice League, cries Amazo, the soulless android whose only goal is the complete and total destruction of Earth's mightiest superheroes. With his unique powers and weapons, with his unique cellular structure, Amazo can absorb and duplicate any hero's powers and weapons, including the Flash's whirlwind speed, Superman's earth-shattering strength, Green Lantern's miraculous power ring. Any one of these attributes would make him a tough opponent. Together, they turn him into a one-man Justice League. And, it's the... So, the trivia question is, who created Amazo? And the answer, almost blurted it out again, Professor Ivo. Yeah, he was designed and created to fight the Justice League. And generally, I mean, you can see right on the card here, like, you've got Hawkman's mace, you've got the Red Tornado spin at the bottom, and Green Lantern's ring, and then Elongated Man's stretching. Yeah, the most common way to defeat Amazo in the comics when he would turn up was basically, and it almost always coincided with this, would be when the Justice League got a new member, because then that new member would show up with something that Amazo hadn't duplicated yet, and would totally offset him and have him destroyed. There are ways, because I do believe there was a storyline in the Batman series where Nightwing and Batman take down Amazo. But yeah, he's one of those characters that, like, yeah, he shows up. It's kind of a big deal because you don't know exactly how it's going to work. When they used him in the Justice League series, they actually had him absorb so many different powers. He eventually gained a consciousness and overrode his programming as far as destroying the Justice League, and basically left Earth because he wanted to find a new purpose. So yeah, they've done a lot with Amazo, and he was one of those really easy villains to toss in there, to go back to, because since he's an android, he can always come back. So, made for a great villain. And next up, we've got Villain Heritage, which is Mr. Mxyzptlk. And this is the modern age Mxyzptlk. And his first appearance is Superman 11, number 11, from November 1987. So 1987 is when the modern Mxyzptlk came about. But I will talk more about that when we get more of them. If I get the set, kind of don't know how to talk about them as much when I'm like, if I get another card, I'm like, oh, and unlike the other one, I'd just rather have them all together so I can talk about the differences if I'm going to. So next up we've got classic cover action comics. Raze has talked about this one. This is the start of it all. This is the first appearance of Superman. This is the first, basically the first modern comic. It is what started what comics are today. Superheroes, the whole thing. This is where it all starts. And Raze has gone on about that in his video that has in his video about the famous covers. Raze is going to go ahead and post a card or something to show the Action Comics #1 cover, because he talks more about that in there. But for now, it's just reading on the back of the card. I'll tell you. Publication date is June 1938. Original price 10 cents. 1991. Oh, this is cute. 1991 Overstreet price guide value $55,000 at a near mint. Yeah, that was 1991. This sucker is like well over is a couple million at this point. Cover credits is artist Joe Shuster, writer Jerry Siegel, and cover credits is artist Joe Shuster. Interior credits is writer Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who are the creators of Superman. Synopsis: a tireless figure speeds through the night, desperately racing against the clock to save a man's life. So begins the very first Superman story. A tale in which the Man of Steel bursts onto the scene by snatching an innocent man from the grim grasp of an electric chair in the very nick of time. Still more deeds await Metropolis Marvel, including the rescue of reporter Lois Lane from a band of kidnapping gangsters. A mild-mannered newsman Clark Kent reports the very next day on the front page of the Daily Star. It was the Daily Star before it was the Daily Planet. Though everybody marvels at Kent's uncanny ability to get the inside story on Superman, no one suspects his true identity, that the two men in reality are one and the same. And that is what kicked off superhero comics. This is where it starts. Everything that came before that was not superhero. It was pulp hero. And that's why you get characters like the Phantom, or Mandrake the Magician, or Flash Gordon, or the Shadow even. They are considered pulp heroes because they didn't appear in comic books, because comic books were just basically funny animals and comic strip newspaper strip compilations. It was really the creation of the comic as we know it now, and superheroes have always thrived in that medium. That's where they work best. That's where, that's why movies don't always work. That's why TV series don't always work, is because they were specifically created for comics, by comics, basically. So that whenever you want the real dirt, you're always going to want to go back to the comics, because even the bad ones are giving you more than just watching a TV show, because it's very interactive. I'm not going to get into that. Raze knows this video is going to be long anyway. So next up, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, we have Animal Man. And yeah, he is one that Raze enjoyed when he was younger. Let's see, yeah, Strange Adventures number 180, September of 1965. Raze didn't get into Animal Man until Grant Morrison's run on, until Grant Morrison series, which is really funny because Raze doesn't like Grant Morrison that much, but he did enjoy that series. You can like somebody you don't like, Raze isn't opposed. Raze isn't going to deny himself something good just because he doesn't like the guy who made it. That'd be silly. Okay, thanks to a pair of mysterious aliens, he can run like a cheetah, fly like an eagle, leap like a grasshopper, or swim like a shark. He's Buddy Baker, the man with animal powers. Animal Man can mimic the abilities of any nearby beast, and with the wonders of all nature at his command. The only limits on his powers are the limits of his imagination. So, yeah, for a long time, especially the older ones, he would have to see the animal to gain its power, but then they changed it to where he didn't have to. And then they tried to change it back to where if he used, if he just basically went to go fly, use the power of an eagle, like an eagle somewhere would die. And basically if he randomly took the power of an animal, that animal would die. And it wasn't until he could, if he had in his sight, he had an eagle, he could focus on that one and draw its power from it, its ability from it, and use that to fly, and the eagle would be fine. So they've flip-flopped quite a bit in this, and they've changed him several times. So the trivia question, this is one that Raze didn't really know. How old was Animal Man when he received his powers? And it is 19. So that's cool. Another great hero. Really enjoyed the series when that was going out. But yeah, this is just so exciting. And next up, this is a good one. Next one, Earth's Mightiest Villains. This is Chemo. Chemo, or I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to call it chemo, because yeah, that would be pretty bad. Chemo is a gigantic being. Yeah, they've got his height listed here as 25 feet. And basically let me go ahead and read this before I go into that. His first appearance was in Showcase 39 in 1962. The toxic tyrant known as Chemo was originally no more than a giant receptacle for waste chemicals, until the day a freak reaction in the mixtion's journey inside him gave him a primitive but sinister life of his own. Suddenly, Chemo sprang into action, exterminating humans far and wide with his deadly chemical showers until the Metal Men ended his reign of terror. Yeah, Raze would have blurted out a lot of that. The fact that he was just basically this hollow humanoid shell that was like 25 feet tall, that some scientist is like, every failed experiment, he just dumps the chemicals into this gigantic thing. That doesn't even sound like a good idea. It's like, come on! Yeah, he would spit the chemicals out, but somehow that wouldn't drain him either. And his other big thing is that he can grow. He will just basically grow, which I suppose that explains why he can spit the chemicals out. If he's able to grow, it means he's able to self-replicate to a certain degree. True or false, Chemo can, at will, become up to 100 feet tall. That is true, and Raze doesn't even have to look at that. Yeah, because that's his thing. I think one of the big crossovers, they actually had Chemo like be destroyed, blown up, and it was in Bloodhaven, which was the city that Nightwing was tasked with, or Nightwing had made his own Gotham. He had moved to Bloodhaven, which was across the bay or something like that from Gotham City, and somebody had basically dropped Chemo as a nuke to destroy that city, and it absolutely worked. But of course, Chemo will be back. He has fought the Suicide Squad. He's an artificial life form, so you know somebody's going to rebuild him at some point. But he's a devastating villain anytime you have to deal with him, especially because he's not sentient. So, yeah, he's just a machine. He's as bad as a robot would be. And next up, we have Earth's Mightiest Heroes. We have Nightshade. And believe it or not, Nightshade is actually the Carlton character that Silk Spectre from the Watchmen series was based on. The original idea, the Silk Spectre Nightshade. Only she could create like portals. You can see it right here on the thing. She creates a portal. She jumps through it. It goes through her dimension. So she basically teleports wherever she wants through these portals. But like for the split second, she's in her old dimension. And of course, time works differently. So she's actually moving there, even though the teleportation is almost instant. Very long run with the Suicide Squad, and that's why Raze, like, this is one of Raze's people. Gonna go ahead and read the back of the card here. First appearance is Captain Atom, 82, 1966. Let's see. Distance means nothing to this extraordinary dimensional princess, for hers is the ability to warp space by entering the otherworldly realm called the Nightshade Dimension. As an espionage agent for the Suicide Squad, Nightshade uses her transportation powers and her ability to become a living shadow to vanquish conniving crooks and sinister saboteurs. She was a big deal as far as that, and actually, she actually ends up like in the Suicide Squad at some point when she like later on in the series when Enchantress gets uncontrollable, Nightshade basically has her inhabit her instead of June Moon. I couldn't think of the name, and I was like, look at the back of hers. It says, oh no, that's her. To get they referred to the Enchantress as the succubus at that point, and Nightshade basically takes her into her and is able to contain her inside her. But later on in the series, as the Enchantress always gets more and more powerful, the more she's used, essentially it got to the point where when Nightshade would use her teleportation powers, you know, she goes into the other dimension, the Enchantress would be able to possess her while she was in there, and when she'd come out, she was Enchantress. So, yeah, it was one of the things that later on in the Suicide Squad made it very interesting. Because, I mean, in mid situation, you know, Nightshade could go bad because the Enchantress is back. So, yeah, a lot of fun. This is one of the ones that Raze was really reading at the time, so awesome. Oh yeah, this is weird. We've got another selection here. It's called Villains from Beyond, and that is a weird little way to put this, especially considering the next person. But this is Sinestro, the Green Lantern villain. I'll just go ahead and read the back of the card and talk about that for a second here. First appearance, Green Lantern number 7, 1961. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, as proven by Sinestro, a former Green Lantern reviled by his own people who were oppressed for years under his roguish reign. Banished from the Green Lantern Corps, Sinestro soon formed an unholy alliance between his own special brand of evil and the wicked workings of the antimatter warriors of Quard, who armed him with the only weapon guaranteed to slay the Green Lantern's power ring, slay the Green Lanterns, a power ring cracking with yellow energy. This is one of those strange choices where it's just like, why didn't they have him in his costume at the time? They have him in the Green Lantern costume. The reason for that is the time of these cards coming out. There was a series called The Emerald Dawn, I believe, or something similar. And it was a origin story of Hal Jordan, and they had the Green Lantern of Sinestro basically showing up to train Hal Jordan. And it's during this story that Hal Jordan takes a visit to Kroger and sees just basically the tyrant that Sinestro really is, and basically turns him into the Guardians. And so I kind of understand that, because that series was like, I don't remember how long that series was. I don't remember if it was a 6 or 12 issue thing, but like that was what was being sold at the time. So I kind of understand why they put him on there with the Green Lantern costume. But he has been a Green Lantern again. He's been, it went from being, just a single ring to an entire core, the Sinestro core, which is all yellow rings. So yeah, he is definitely, they've done a lot with this character since his creation and since the 1991s. Who was the sinister successor as Krogar's Green Lantern? That would be Kat Matui. And Kat Matui was actually in the Green Lantern Corps for a while. She is actually the wife. She's like the actual wife of John Stewart until she's killed. So Villains from Beyond, I'm just going to go ahead and put him in the villains pile. Which is funny, because now we've got Earth's Mightiest Villains, and we've got Brainiac. Apparently he's not a villain from Beyond. So we've got Brainiac, and of course he's very popular. Raze has talked about Brainiac on the channel before. Even Superman himself. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and go there. Adventures of Superman number 438 is when it was his first appearance. Even Superman himself fears the cool, cruel Brainiac, an alien genius whose malevolent an alien whose malevolent mind swarming the galaxies before settling on into the consciousness of an innocent Earthman. Slowly, Brainiac imbued his new form with great powers, transforming it into a reflection of his own sinister green-skinned body. Brainiac's telepathic and psychokinetic abilities are calculated to achieve maximum mayhem. It kind of went back and forth. Sometimes he's a artificial life form. Sometimes he's a full-on android. Sometimes he's possessed another person, which is the case in 1991. The trivia question is, who were Brainiac's alien masters? The computer tyrants of Kolu. Basically, because it was just basically a computer system. Like, if you think of a computer system, you see that all the components work together. A good computer, it just basically works together. Everything works. But when that one doesn't, which in this case, instead of being part of a hive mind, Brainiac wanted to be his own person and basically be the ruler of everything. That's where he broke off. And that is another, sometimes that's the origin, sometimes it isn't. Other times he's just the collector, which is usually what they lean back towards. But instead of being like a bunch of supercomputers on this planet, they just kind of have him as a single supercomputer that gained sentience and, kind of became maniacal. So, yeah, Brainiac's got a couple of different histories there, but it's definitely awesome to have this card in there. And yes, we've got Checklist A. And, we can take a look at it. Well, it's Checklist A, so you only get like half half of what's going on here. I think it says on the back that it's 180 cards, and yeah, this only goes up to 96 as far as how many things are on here. But yeah, it looks like we've got Hero Heritage. It looks like there's a lot of those, so we'll see how they match up as they match up. Villain Heritage, same thing, just different. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and then we have Earth's Mightiest Villains. So I guess the other categories, like the comic covers and the Villains from Beyond and Great Battles and stuff, is on the second checklist. So that's cool. We'll get there when we get there. And next up we've got Plasmus, who is an awesome, he was part should I? Part of the Fearsome Five who fought the Teen Titans. Okay, we're going to go back here. First appearance, New Teen Titans, number 14. On the most temperamental, as the most temperamental and brutal member of the Society of Sin, which used to be the Fatal Five, Plasmus delights in taking his foes back to basics by reducing them with but a touch into shambling blob of pure protoplasm, which is pretty much what he's a walking being of. Even those who manage to escape Plasma's cruel power still find themselves in danger of his fiery lava-like blasts. So yeah, he's basically like a plasma lava monster of some kind. The trivia question is just who transformed Otto von Firth into Plasmus, the evil General Zal. And that he has basically always been like a bit player. I believe he's shown up in the Teen Titans animated series at some point. I don't remember exactly because I don't remember that entire series as closely as some of the younger generations do. But yeah, he was always just basically the muscle. But he was always good muscle because you can't even touch him. So, yeah, he goes into this hero pile. Oh, so. Well, you know what? Raze is ready for another one. And I think we'll go through another card set. And we'll save the Wonder Woman for last. Just going to make this one big video. Raze is going to have to pause to make sure that this video doesn't stop recording because that was happening. So he will be right back in like a couple seconds. And we are back. We are back with another of these cosmic cards. And Raze has decided that he's going to go ahead and push these two videos together to go ahead and make this for the second video because decided with the last pack there's going to be more duplicates because we haven't gotten a single duplicate yet. We will have duplicates that will get us through it faster, and then Raze can go ahead and go through the heritage cards, the great battles, just make it a little bit easier on the viewing. And yes, this is going to be a long video because it's a long video, and Raze is going to go ahead and do that. Just to make the last one a little bit smaller, because, the last one, the last one serves a purpose. So we're going to go ahead and bust into the other card, or the other card pack of that, and see what we've got here. And, okay, and I'm going to fan these out real quick because Ray's just got a feeling. No, it doesn't look like it. And so the first card we've got here is Villains from Beyond. And just like the other one. And that is Mr. Nebula. And yes, this was... okay, this won't actually spoil much of anything, but Raze is going to go ahead and give this away a little bit. Mr. Nebula was essentially a parody of Galactus. He's a gigantic being who coasts around. He had the Scarlet Skier was his herald, and if you know the Fantastic Four stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Only instead of being the world devourer, he was the world decorator, which I'm sure we'll go into on the back of the card. But what Raze is pointing out is that yes, this is a parody character. This is a spoof on Galactus. Heck, even his real name is Curtin Rod, which if you know your Silver Surfer, Silver Surfer was Norrin Rod. So yeah, don't think they're related though. First appearance was in Justice League America number 36 in 1990. So yeah, it was a relatively early. Oh God, Raze messed it up already. So the trivia question is, what is the name of Mr. Nebula's herald? And Raze just said it earlier with the Scarlet Skier. He's so bad at this. Gonna go ahead and read the back of the card. Wouldn't another moon look just darling above this planet? Mr. Nebula, who possesses a tremendous power, great philosophical vision, and unspeakably bad taste, certainly thinks so. With his Terran modifiers, which can alter the shape, color, or texture of any object, he travels the cosmos in his Nebula-mobile, redesigning entire worlds at whim using his unique artistic sensibilities. The only spot in the Milky Way, save from Mr. Nebula's interference, is Las Vegas, Nevada, which has received his seal of approval. And yeah, to give away his first story of coming to Earth, basically the Justice League, and this was the Justice League International at the time, so it was more of a comedy book, in order to stop Mr. Nebula from redesigning the entire planet, they basically took him to Las Vegas, Nevada, to show him, like, look, we are trying to do it our own way. Please let us do this. Don't, let us learn, and we're students of you. And he was so flattered by it, he was just like, oh, well, okay, I'll let you guys at it then. So, yeah, it was a very strange story all the way around. So, yeah, he goes into the villain pile and everything. And next up we have another Earth's Mightiest Heroes. We have Ice, or, okay, yeah. Well, maybe I will. I'm just going to go ahead and read the back so I don't, spoil any part of it too soon. First appearance of Super Friends number 9 in December 1997. Daring to journey beyond the boundaries of her long-hidden Scandinavian home, the soft-spoken Princess Tora Offslaughter became a stranger in a strange land by using her native powers to project snow and ice as part of the unending battle against crime and tyranny. Originally a member of the Global Guardians, Ice now freezes criminals in their tracks as a member of the Justice League. And of course, the trivia question, who was Ice's roommate? Fellow Justice League member Fire. I think I mentioned that when I got the Fire card in the last video. One of the interesting things about Ice here, she was originally known as Ice Maiden. And when she first appeared in the Super Friends, she actually had blue skin. And I think she had blue skin in early images of the Global Guardians as well. But then they finally brought her to the Justice League, and she was Caucasian. And they did do a story later on trying to show that Ice and Ice Maiden were two different people, but they were also the exact same type of person. Because Ice was clearly more powerful than Ice Maiden. In this case, they're talking about, native powers to project snow and ice. As it evolved, they basically show that she's actually an ice goddess. So yeah, when they start playing around with continuity and canon, it does get a little bit confusing. But that is Ice. And oh yeah, Raze just talks way too much, doesn't he? Ooh, and we've got another one. We've got another famous classic cover, Showcase 22, which I believe this is the first appearance of Green Lantern. I would love it if they did a comic book cover of this, because it would absolutely make total sense, but DC is very slow about these things. So, yeah, publication date, September, October 1959, got original price 10 cents, 1991 Overstreet price guide value, $1,050 near mint. Cover credits is artist Gil Kane, which is awesome. I actually have a glass designed by him. Interior credits, writer John Broome, who was a big deal at the time. He wrote a lot of that stuff. Penciler Gil Kane, inker Joe Yella. Go ahead and read the back of the card, because this is like classic Green Lantern stuff. Flaming like a falling star, a strange magical spacecraft lands on American desert. In the American desert. What? There's only one. That's kind of ridiculous. In the desert. Pretty sure there's more than one. Inside the ship's critically injured pilot, Abin Sur uses his final minutes to activate his battery power, commanding it to bring forth an Earthman brave and honest enough to be worthy of inheriting its emerald energy. Within moments, test pilot Hal Jordan finds himself face to face with the crimson-skinned being who tells Jordan of his long career as a Green Lantern, one of the select band of galactic patrolmen. Placing his ring on the Earthman's finger, he explains that in his dying breath that its green jewel will draw power from the battery if it's charged every 24 hours. After laying the alien to rest, Jordan vows to honor his spacefaring benefactor by accepting the mantle of a Green Lantern. And of course, this is the Silver Age Green Lantern of Hal Jordan. The first Green Lantern, Alan Scott, was actually created by Bill Finger, who also basically created Batman. And I take my opportunity to say that every chance I get. It is interesting. I always love seeing the origin stories, these stories way back from like 1959, and how it's changed. I mean, it was like a big deal that Hal Jordan became a Green Lantern, because they've never done their Earth Green Lantern before. Alan Scott had a completely different origin, and I think they've even explained how the rings were related, or how the power was related, even though Alan Scott never dealt with the Guardians of the Universe. But like, to see that, like, oh, it's very unique. Now it's like Earth has like close to 10 Green Lanterns, or has had close to 10 Green Lanterns. When you get like, the original two that were supposed to be initially picked was Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner. But Guy Gardner was, they explained that Guy Gardner was like I think he was in a coma at the time. And so his, basically the next runner up that was Hal Jordan's, replacement at the time, was John Stewart. And then of course it just goes on. You've got Kyle Rayner, you've got, Simon Baz, you've got like a couple of different, Green Lanterns at this point. And yeah, it's just kind of like, well, it used to be a big deal just to have one. And it appears that almost every other planet, like, they have shown a couple where I think for a while there, it was like the Green Lanterns, there would be two from every planet. So every Green Lantern had a partner, but, yeah, that's kind of gone. That's gone in every different direction at a certain point throughout continuity. So yeah, but that's where the Green Lantern stuff, core related, first showed up with with the Silver Age Green Lantern. And next up, we have Earth's Mightiest Heroes. We have got Geo-Force. And yeah, Geo-Force, he was a big deal. His first appearance was in the Brave and the Bold 200. I never know whether I should just talk or just read the back of the card to figure out which one I'm gonna mention. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Geo-Force is a prince of a guy, Prince Byron, leader of the tiny Balkan nation of Markovia. A proud and noble man, he once used his tremendous strength, gravitational powers, and heat blasts to take on criminals across the globe alongside his fellow outsiders. Today, he uses his great mind to serve and protect his poor and hungry countrymen. Yeah, he is one of the guys that I think I did a video on the Outsiders when I had the miniatures, and there was a Geo-Force figure in that, which was very cool. So yeah, he basically he kind of popped up, and he was basically the Superman substitute for the Outsiders when Batman went to form that team. And the trivia question, which is a lot of fun, I'd love to see how many people actually know this. Who is Geo-Force's superpowered sister? And that would be Terra from the Teen Titans. And yeah, I always love the fact that, you know, that's always a reoccurring thing in his stories. When he shows up, he's always reminded that his troubled sister. I'd love it even more if he had a full-on hatred of Deathstroke. But yeah, sometimes people love Deathstroke, other times they don't. It's hard saying. But yeah, this is Geo-Force, and he's another great character. And next up, let's see who we got here. Not even looking at the card. Who do we got? Who we got? Oh, we've got Hero Heritage. And yes, you can see, that even in 91 they were struggling with this, because this is the Golden Age Shazam. Still wouldn't call him Captain Marvel on the thing. Yeah, that's the Golden Age Shazam. Then that's the original Wiz Comics that came back way back when. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the Heritage pile, and I'll get back to these individual when I see how many different ones I have. And then after that, we have Great Battles, which is the Millennium crossover, which wasn't one of Raze's favorites, but this is card C, Millennium card C, so that definitely means that there's 3 cards to every one. And a quick little thing is you find out the Manhunters, which was the Green Lanterns, or with the Guardians of the Universe, originally used Manhunters instead of the Green Lantern Corps. They were androids that they set up to patrol the galaxy, but they ended up being too good at their job, and yeah, kind of went corrupt and went rogue, and yeah, then they just weren't usable anymore. And so the Millennium storyline was showing how for hundreds of years, the Manhunters have been infiltrating Earth, and replaced a lot of supporting cast members with that. And I want to wait till I get the card so I can actually talk about this instead of just going on. But yeah, we have got also coming up, we've got the Modern Age Superman. So this is another Hero Heritage, and according to this, the Modern Age Superman first appeared in Man of Steel #1 in October of 1986. And that basically means that's when that means after the Crisis on Infinite Earths and everything was wiped clean, this was them rebooting Superman, and so that's what they mean by Modern Age. This is not the Silver Age Superman anymore. It's when DC did one of their initial, I guess, first broad stroking, wiping out continuity and starting over again. But I'm gonna wait till I know I've got 2 Superman cards here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in that pile so I can talk about them at the same time. and talk about some of the differences there. And next up, we have Sensation Comics #1. And yeah, this is often mistaken to be the first appearance of Wonder Woman, which it is not. But it is her basically getting her own start. She actually appeared one time before this, which introduced her, and yeah, so that it's one of those little, oh wait, yeah. This is often mistaken for the first appearance of Wonder Woman, which it is not. We're going to go ahead and read the back of this. This is the publication date of January 1942. Originals price was 10 cents. The 1991 price guide value is $3,600. Yeah. I wish. Artist being H.J. Peter. And the interior credits are, H.G. Peter was the artist on the cover and the inside. The writer, of course, was William Moulton Marston. The credited creator of Wonder Woman, though I think he had a couple of helpers in that. The more you know about him, the weirder it gets. Out of a clear blue sky streaks a silent, transparent plane. Its destination, Washington, D.C. Its pilot, the star-spangled Amazon princess called Wonder Woman, who has left her home on the idyllic Paradise Island to travel to America and fight for the rights of humanity. Within hours, she makes headlines as a courageous crime stopper, single-handedly apprehending a band of bank robbers after deflecting their bullets with her invulnerable bracelets, still only with the aid of her new boyfriend, Army Captain Steve Trevor, is Wonder Woman able to achieve the victory that catapults her into fame, the destruction of a secret enemy airbase which concealed hundreds of poison gas bombs. So, yeah. Even in her earliest appearances, they knew they couldn't get away with Wonder Woman they had her as the strong character, but she still needed a guy to help her. And I think that had more to do with, making sure they got published, because a woman being that strong just didn't fly at the time. So they had to have a man that would help her, even in a small way. Just couldn't quite get the job done. And I love the fact that all those stories do that. And a lot of times they would remove men completely from the stories just so they wouldn't have to, there wouldn't be an excuse as to use a man in there. But Marston was he was a very big feminist, and he was basically his mindset was that even though, he was William Moulton Marston, I believe he's a doctor, he actually is the guy who came up with the polygraph test. That was his other creation outside of Wonder Woman. But he very much felt that men should be submissive to women, and he always held women on a higher regard than he did men. And essentially he worked to provide for his, to care for basically his keepers, I guess you'd say, because he had both a wife and a mistress, and they knew about it. It was like it was a relationship of three. But yeah, he was basically the one that was told to go out and provide while they lounged around and did whatever they wanted. That's kind of the way that whole situation played out. They actually made a movie about it, but it wasn't, I don't know. Reading the historical stuff and seeing movies about it, they don't necessarily match up sometimes. But yeah, that's another famous cover. This would be a great cover to get. But like I said, it's often mistaken for Wonder Woman's first appearance, and it is not. There was one appearance of Wonder Woman that came like I think the month before. It was short, it was small, but like this was her first. This was her first story. This was her first headlining bit. But next up, we've got Bronze Tiger, and Raze wants to say that he's already gotten this one, but he's pretty sure he's not. Do I have my first duplicate here? Nope, doesn't look like it. Wanted to say it, but it's not. But this is Bronze Tiger. He was basically the leader of the Suicide Squad for the longest time, and like I said, it was really kind of a big deal that, you know, there in 1990, which I believe this is when he was leader of the Bronze Tiger, the Suicide Squad. If he wasn't, then he soon was, because he succeeded after Rick Flag was killed. I don't know if I should say that or not, because Rick Flag is back, and yeah, there's a big Rick Flag kind of dies sometimes. But to get into this, I'm just going to go ahead and read the back of this. His first appearance was Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter, #1, April of 1975. Brainwashed by the loathsome League of Assassins, martial artist Ben Turner struck with savagery and a jungle predator under his code name Bronze Tiger. Eventually, Amanda Waller turned his head around and persuaded him to join the Suicide Squad, where his ferocious talents enabled him to serve the team as a deadly and capable field commander. He really went from being a member of the League of Assassins to being the leader of the Suicide Squad and essentially being a hero. And it basically showed you how they focused his rage. Originally, he wore a mask, and they kind of, part of the hypnosis was when he put the mask on, he was no longer a person. He was a being of pure rage. And the trivia question: which of the martial arts is Bronze Tiger's specialty? And this is Taekwondo. He wasn't a commonly used villain when he was being used as a villain, but he did make big waves, because during the Silver Age, it was Bronze Tiger that actually ended up killing Batwoman, Betty Kane, or Kathy Kane, Batwoman. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal there. He killed the Golden Age Batwoman, and yeah, so it wasn't a surprise to see him in prison, but like seeing that he was so thoroughly deprogrammed, and I mean immediately pretty much being on the team, you saw that he wasn't a villain, and him stepping up to be the leader of the team not too far into the series was really kind of a big deal, just simply because he was black, and you didn't really have a lot of black leaders in comics in the 90s. I mean, many followed, but like, yeah, he kind of, if he wasn't the first, then he was one of the first, that's for sure. And he held that title for a long time. And next up, who do we got? Oh, we've got a Green Lantern. We've got Nort. I'm never sure if I should refer to him as Gnort or Nort. Not sure if the G is supposed to be silent or not. It's an apostrophe. It's confusing. But yes, he was. Okay, he's a little bit annoying. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read the card. He's a dog. He's a Green Lantern that's a dog. First appearance was Justice League International #10 in 1988. Who in the galaxy would give this guy a power ring? How about the clown-like Puglashi dispensed many a ring to buffooning buffoons, a galaxy over buffoons over. Oh God! Dispensed many a ring to bumbling buffoons, the galaxy over in the attempt to discredit the mighty guardians of the universe. Fortunately, Nort was but a unwitting dupe in the plan, and in recognition of his good heart and good works, was eventually rewarded with a trial membership in the the Green Lantern Corps by the Guardians. And yeah, that was kind of the thing. That was that there was a whole storyline when the Green Lanterns had come back after the power battery disappeared and or blew up, and basically only left a handful of rings. Later on in the Justice League, Nort shows up and he's got a ring, and it's just like, where the heck did you get these? And where the heck did you get this? And there was a whole storyline where the Guardians didn't. When Guy Gardner takes Nort to Oa, and he's kind of looking around like, I don't know what this place is, and and the Guardians say, we do not recognize, we've never known this being. And so yeah, Guy went back and found and they literally were clowns. I mean, they were clown card comical clowns that gave out power rings. And so yeah, and this is, and who is Nort's archenemy? The Scarlet Skier. You know, Mr. Nebula's, it kind of ties together, the lameness. I'm not sure if this character still is running around. I know he pops up in animated things, but I'm not sure how much they use him in current continuity or not. If you know, let me know in the comments, because I really don't see him as being useful much at all, even storyline based. But yeah, we're going to shoot through this, and yeah, boom, right here we've got the Silver Age Wonder Woman, who is apparently from Wonder Woman 105 in 1959, so that's when she takes over from the Golden Age Wonder Woman. And again, I will go ahead and put this in with the Heritage pile, and we'll go through all of these together in the next video. Because lastly, we have Granny Goodness, one of Darkseid's people. Again, I stammer because I want to launch into a Raze speech, but he also has to read the back of the card, and he doesn't like to be redundant. So I'm going to go ahead and read the back of the card here. Her first appearance was Mr. Miracle #2 in 1971. Better never to have been born than to be a child weaned in one of Granny Goodness's orphanages. The brutal and dehumanizing training camps that turn out generation after generation of lowly foot soldiers who serve Darkseid without question or hesitation. Of the millions of children under her care, only Mr. Miracle and Big Barda survived Granny's tough love long enough to flee her tyrannical rule. So basically, that's just it is. You do what you can to please this woman. She also had the Female Furies, which was Barda's the team Barda was in the lead of. She basically trained the foot soldiers to death. Like, you basically woke up and, yeah, living on Apocalypse is not a fun place to be. I mean, look at the freaking name. It's Apocalypse. And what is the name of Granny's special all-woman battalion? I just said the Furies. I can't help it. I gotta give some shit away. But at any rate, yeah, she is a big character. She's one of the Darkseid's elite that I really enjoy seeing when they pop up. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap this section up. And we only have the last one to go. So Raze is going to go ahead and get out of here now, and he's going to get you ready for that last video. And it's going to be exciting. And yes, Raze has seen the number of subscribers he has, and he's very pleased. And as you know, when Raze gets to a certain point, say 500 subscribers, he will be putting together, well, he's already putting together another giveaway box. Much like the last one. Don't know how big it's going to be, but it's getting good. But Raze is going to go ahead and get out of here now, but never forget, the life is full of odd moments. You never know when you're going to be defined.